Your roadmap to the latest in auto? Welcome to Highway Herald. Detroit has endured storms before, but 2025 marks a breaking point. Since April, more than 42,000 U.S. auto jobs have vanished as tariffs scramble supply chains, shutter factories, and stall communities across the Midwest. Asian automakers, once devoted to America, are cutting forecasts and redirecting investment north to Canada. Families face soaring prices and scarce used cars. This isn't a hiccup, it's a seismic reset reshaping the auto industry. Detroit reeling, jobs, prices, and a shaken normal. The past year has crushed the notion that America's auto industry can weather any policy storm. Tariffs on imported cars, steel, aluminum, and parts didn't just disrupt business. They slammed into a delicate just-in-time supply system. The first fracture was jobs. Across the Midwest, assembly lines slowed or shut, leaving tens of thousands unemployed. Communities built around auto paychecks, from diners to warehouses to schools, felt the ripple instantly. Showrooms soon reflected the shock. Higher sticker prices, compounded by steep interest rates, priced families out of new cars. Shoppers turned to used vehicles, only to find another squeeze. Fleets held onto inventory, trade-ins dried up, and 10-year-old sedans suddenly sold at premiums. Popular crossovers disappeared in days, creating a crunch analysts say could linger for years. At the same time, North America's production map is shifting. Canada is attracting automaker investment with incentives, while others double down in U.S. plants under a new mantra, build where we sell. And this brings us to the giants of the industry, Toyota and Honda, who now find themselves playing defense. Toyota and Honda, from market leaders to playing defense. When industry giants like Toyota and Honda stumble, the entire auto sector feels the quake. Toyota has already warned that U.S. tariffs could strip nearly $10 billion from its balance sheet and slash annual profits. Its North American arm even swung from profit to loss in a single quarter, an almost unthinkable turn for a company built on consistency and discipline. A temporary U.S.-Japan agreement cut auto tariffs from 27.5% to 15%, but that's still 6 times higher than the old 2.5% baseline. Toyota's counterpunch is clear. Build where we sell. Over half its U.S. sales already roll out of American factories, and it's accelerating investments in battery plants and component supply lines across the continent. For now, it has resisted major price hikes, absorbing billions in losses to maintain dealer goodwill and customer loyalty. Honda faces the same reality. Despite strong U.S. and Canadian plants, it warns of heavy financial hits ahead, since even American-assembled vehicles still rely on tariff-laden global parts. Before we delve deeper, we'd appreciate it if you could subscribe to Highway Herald. Your support fuels our passion to create more content like this. Now, if the giants are bruised, the smaller Japanese brands are downright staggering. Nissan, Subaru, Mazda, and Mitsubishi, smaller brands, bigger bruises. If Toyota and Honda are limping, smaller Japanese brands are taking body blows. Nissan has suspended financial guidance, bracing for billions in tariff costs. Its Tennessee and Mississippi plants provide some cushion, but imports in Mexico remain critical, making margins razor-thin. To cope, Nissan cut prices on U.S.-built models like the Rogue and Pathfinder, while freezing certain Mexico-built crossovers, an unmistakable sign of trade policy dictating product strategy. Subaru, heavily reliant on the U.S. market, faced an even starker choice: raise prices or absorb losses. It hiked nearly all models except its latest EV, with analysts warning billions could vanish unless Subaru localizes production and suppliers faster. Mazda, dependent on Mexico, saw exports collapse by more than half, pushing it to rely more heavily on its shared Alabama plant with Toyota. Incentives shrank as prices rose, squeezing already thin margins. Mitsubishi, lacking substantial U.S. capacity, faces the steepest climb, risking its budget car niche entirely. Even with tariffs lowered to 15%, smaller players still confront a wall compared to the old 2.5%. But while Japan's smaller brands are fighting to stay afloat, South Korea's Hyundai Kia Group is charging ahead with an entirely different strategy. Hyundai Kia's Georgia Gamble, local growth amid the storm. South Korea's auto giant isn't waiting for the trade storm to clear. It's seizing the moment. Hyundai reset profit expectations and rolled out an aggressive localization plan. By 2030, more than 80% of U.S. sales will be American-built. The centerpiece is its massive Georgia hub, targeting 500,000 units annually by 2028, with a balanced mix of hybrids and EVs. The strategy is clear. The best shield against tariffs is local steel, local suppliers, and local assembly. Still, the pivot has costs. Hyundai trimmed margin targets, warning third-quarter impacts would surpass those of the second. Tensions flared when U.S. immigration raids detained Korean engineers vital for commissioning battery lines, exposing the clash of trade, labor policy, and industrial strategy. Executives now press for streamlined travel rules to keep production on track. At the same time, Hyundai is broadening its lineup. More hybrids, extended-range EVs in 2027, and even a mid-size pickup. Together with Kia and Genesis, U.S. capacity already exceeds 1 million units, positioning the group to weather tariffs better than most. Yet while Hyundai-Kia doubles down on U.S. soil, consumers themselves are already living through the painful consequences of tariffs. Consumers, supply chains, and Canada's bid for the future. For automakers, tariffs are a long-term challenge, but for households, the pain is immediate. Prices climb through 3 channels: direct duties on imports, tariffs on foreign parts inside U.S.-built cars, and higher raw material costs. Few models qualify for exemptions, leaving brands to either raise prices, trim options, or lean on dealer cash. The used market isn't a safe haven either. As new vehicles outpace wages and credit tightens, trade-ins shrink and fleets delay replacements, drying up supply. By 2025, families with $28,000 to $35,000 budgets were pushed into older crossovers with higher miles and fewer safety features, a shift with lasting financial, safety, and environmental costs. Canada, meanwhile, has seized the opportunity. Federal and provincial incentives for minerals, batteries, and assembly make it a stable production base. Under USMCA, components flow freely, drawing more contracts north with each tariff shock. The reality is clear. Build where you sell is no longer a slogan, but a survival strategy. And this brings us to the bigger picture, the final verdict on America's tariff tightrope. The final verdict, America's Tariff Balancing Act. This isn't simply about automakers abandoning America, it's a full-scale realignment. Toyota and Honda have taken multi-billion-dollar hits, while Nissan, Subaru, Mazda, and Mitsubishi are cornered into price hikes, model cuts, or strategic tie-ups. Hyundai-Kia, meanwhile, is doubling down in Georgia, turning tariffs into an opening to cement its U.S. presence. Consumers see it in higher prices and shrinking used car options, while workers face layoffs in some areas and fresh opportunities in others. The real competition now plays out on the factory floor. The brands that localize supply chains in Michigan, Georgia, Ontario, or Quebec will set the industry's future. Within the next 2 years, these moves will determine who adapts successfully and who gets left behind. So before we wrap up, what do you think? Do you see Hyundai-Kia's massive Georgia gamble as a smart move or a risky overreach? Are rising sticker prices and shrinking used car options changing how you or people you know shop for vehicles? And with Canada stepping up as a stable alternative, do you think more automakers will move north to hedge their bets? We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss the latest vehicle updates and deep dives here on Highway Herald. Thanks for watching and see you next time. You can now check out any of the videos on the screen. There's more exciting and informative content waiting for you.